Hi, this is Marloomz Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to create Doc McStuffins on your Rainbow Loom.
Time for your checkup.
A lot of you may remember my original Doc McStuffin that I posted on my Facebook page. She was a pictorial, and I will show you what she looked like. She looks somewhat like this, except for the eyes. I had originally used E-beads. This one looks a little bit weird. But this is what she originally looked like, and I just wanted to make her look more like the doll, more realistic, and this is the finished product. And I posted a picture on Instagram and asked a lot of you for advice on which one looked better, and everyone voted for this one with the face that looks like this. Some of you do like this doll with the white around the beads. If you want that still, during the tutorial I can just tell you how to add the white around her eye. But for the most part, you guys voted for this one, so this is what you're getting. So let's tell you what you're going to need for today.
I have a diagnosis.
For today, you're going to need purple bands for her shirt and for her sleeve, and you're going to need pink bands. I used Rainbow Loom's Jelly Pink. You're going to need also, I think her stockings, let me check over here. Her stockings are purple, and then they have pink and a hot pink on them. Again, you can use whatever two colors you want. For her stockings, this is the bands that I used. I found them at Five Below, and they have two colors in them. And you could also use dotted bands if you have. If you don't have the bands that are like that, what you can do is just you can grab a purple band and then a blue band, and you can place them together onto the peg. When we get to that part, I'll just show you. So for her skirt, I'm using hot pink, or the jelly pink from Rainbow Loom. And so you're going to need that. You're going to need white bands for her coat and brown for her hair. And then for her skin color, I'm using Rainbow Loom's caramel bands, and this is what they look like. And that's what I'm using for her skin. And as far as her stethoscope, I used a large pony bead and an E-bead. If you don't have an E-bead, you can also use a large pony and a little pony. And if you don't have beads at all, then I will just show you how to make a stethoscope using beads. So let's get started. Gather your supplies. I didn't count how many. I apologize for that. But gather your brown bands for her hair, your caramel for her skin, white, purple, pink, and whatever color you want her stockings to be. And then we will get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make her body, and then we'll make her head separate because she's long, so she takes up the entire loom. Make sure your loom is set up in the staggered where the middle row is above the other two. And let's begin by grabbing our purple and white bands and pink. So I'm going to start by, actually I'm going to take two of the color that it's going to be used for her skin. So choose the color of her skin, and you're going to take two of those and place it on these two pegs. And then we're going to be switching to purple bands. You're going to take two purple and place it from here to the left and to the right. And then we're switching to white bands. And you're going to take two white bands, place it here. Back to purple. And then back to white again. And these are two bands at a time. And then we're going to do purples again. Now we're going to switch to our color of the skirt. So I'm using Rainbow Loom's pink, the jelly bands, and then I'm going to place 2 here. Two there. This is what it looks like so far. Two here. Two here. And then we're going to go from the middle, this peg, and place it on the outer peg. And do that again. From the middle to the outer peg. Now you can grab the color that you chose for your stocking. I'm choosing the bands that I bought at Five Below, that they have 2 colors in them. You can choose dotted bands. If you don't have the bands that look like this, what you're going to do is you're going to grab 1 blue, and then you can grab a purple. So say this was the blue and this is purple, you're going to grab them like that. The purple's on the bottom, and then you place it purple on the bottom, blue on top. And you want to repeat the pattern the same way. So we're going to go down 3 times. So if you do this using 2 bands, make sure that it's the same. Purple on the bottom, blue on top, going down the same. And that way it just looks, it gives it a neater look. But I'm going to be using these bands, I forgot what they're called. I guess dotted. They're not really dotted. And I'm going down 3 times on this side, and then I'm going to go 3 times on this side, and I'm just placing 2 at a time. Then I'm going to switch to the skin color. And I'm going to place 1 here and 1 here. And then we're going to take a pink that matches her skirt and place the pink here, just a single. So now I'm just placing a single. And then on top of that, a white band. So it should look like this. These were the stocking color, the skin, and then I placed a pink and a white. I'm going to do that again on this side, a pink and a white. And then grab 2 single white bands, and you're going to cap that around 4 times. Now, if you want, when I push this up, this is going to be her shoe. For some reason, you can't see her skin color, like the way it shows in the doll. This is her stocking, a little bit of skin, and her shoe. If you want, we can loop this, and then I'll show you what to do. We'll add another skin color. So let's add this first. So you're going to wrap this around 4 times, and this one and this one. And then we're going to just loop this really quick, and then we're going to remove it, and then we're going to add another 2 caramel bands, and then add this shoe, this is her shoe, onto that band. So we could have just did that on our hook, but it doesn't matter. So now loop just the shoe part. You can remove it. Add the 2 caramel bands. And then just add this back. And hopefully when we loop it, then you can see more of her skin, the way the doll looks like. And so we're done with that part. Now you're going to push down all these bands, because we're going to be overlapping some bands now. Grab a bunch of white bands, and take 2 at a time, and from this peg right here you're going to place 2 bands, and we're going to do that all the way up to right here. So you're going to place 2 here, 2 here, it's in there. These bands, they're always stuck together. Two here, 2 here, and actually what we're going to do, I'm sorry, is we're going to add 2 here also. So you went from this second peg right here, and you went down all the way up to this peg, and that's the one that's underneath this pink. So where this pink band comes in, you're going to go 1 down. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So begin on this second peg if you're using the Rainbow Loom, and just basically follow the same thing as the other side. Continue to go down. Now you're going to take a single band and wrap it around this peg 3 times. And the same on this one. And wrap it around your peg 3 times. And this is what yours should look like so far. Then we're going to be adding triangle bands. So here's your single band, and you're going to place the first one on these 3, and that is the 3rd one down. Let's remove that hair. Disgusting. And then let's add this one right here, and then this one. Triangle band here, a triangle here, and we're not adding any on these 2. Now we're going to loop this. We're going to grab our hook, push back this capping, grab just the 2 white bands, and bring it up. And then we're going to grab these 2 white bands and bring that up. Now, when we're looping this row, don't touch the middle row. We don't need to do that yet. You want to make sure that the triangle band, you push that back. And then grab the 2 white bands and loop that forward. Again, over here, you want to make sure you're pushing this single band back. Grabbing the 2 white, looping that forward. The same here. If you don't, if you do the opposite, if you go underneath, it's gonna mess up that part. Now the same here, we're going to take the capping band and grab the 2 white bands, loop that forward. Grab these 2 white bands. There's so much hair over here today. Grab these 2 white bands. Take this triangle band, push it back. Grab these. And this one. Pull that back. And we have completed this part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be removing this row and placing on the outside of our loom. And that's what gives it that lab coat look. So take your thumb and just hold this, put your thumb on this first peg right here, just so it doesn't pop off. And then take your finger and you're going to pop this part off and place it to the side. And if you see This one's still on my loom, and this one is on the outside. Again, I'm taking my finger, not the bottom row, just the white, popping it up and placing on the outside. And the same here, pop it up, place it on the outside, and you're going to do this with this one too, and do that. Then we're going to do it on this side. Pop this up, and this one. And actually I messed up. This loop right here, this one right here, should go back onto this peg. So this one right here, leave this one on. And this one too. Take your hook and just remove this loop, the one that's on this peg, just be careful, and then place that to the side. That's what yours should look like. Same here. If you remove this one, you need to put it back on. This whole circle needs to go back on this peg. This circle is coming off, so do it slowly, and then you take that loop, the circle, and you place it to the side, and it should look like that on both sides. So here's what yours should look like so far, and you want to make sure that the triangle bands look like triangles, that they're not like this. Make sure they're one line is underneath two bands and the other one's above it. And now we're going to make her arms and her hair. And we should have did that in the beginning, but it's okay, we can borrow the middle row. So push back these two pink bands and let's make her arms. You're going to grab two white bands and you're going to place it on the peg that has the pink underneath it. Then take another two white bands, switch to two purples, take two purple. So we did white, white, purple, and then you're going to do two sets of caramel bands. A caramel, another set, and then you're going to take the single band and you're going to wrap it around 4 times, and then we're going to loop that. Take your hook, reach underneath, and just loop these forward. And then you're looping up to this white part only, and then you can remove just all these white ones, and this is your Doc McStuffins arms. And you're going to place one arm right here. And we're going to do that again. Right where the pink part is, we're going to borrow that and just put two white bands. Another two. Right here. And then followed by two purple bands. And then two sets of caramel bands. Or whatever skin color you chose for her. Take a single, wrap it around 4 times. And you're going to loop this. And remove it. And place it on that peg, which is the second from the top. And we can begin to loop her. And then after this, we're going to make her head. So you're going to take your hook and push back the bands that we have for her shoe. Bring the caramel bands up and bring it to the loop, to the peg above. And the same here, bring the caramel up, then the color for stocking, and the same here. These two, grab the bottom two caramel bands, loop it forward, Loop this forward. Her stocking or leggings or whatever. And now we're going to reach in here and we're grabbing the first set of pink bands, which is the one that's right here. So you're going to push back the extension and grab the first set of pink bands, and these are going to the middle. The same here, push back the extension, grab the first two pink bands, which are right here. Slippery little bands. And you know you got the right set. When you pull on it, it should be pulling on that one. Otherwise you grab the wrong one. Now you're going to re-enter the same peg and grab the remaining two pink bands that should be on the bottom. Loop that forward. Grab these, loop this forward. Push back all these bands, and there's two bottom pink bands that need to be brought up. So we loop this, this, and this. Now we're going to loop, make sure you're grabbing the, make sure you're always pushing back the triangle band. I know I say it a lot, but it's important. And then loop the pink bands forward, loop these forward, again pushing back all those bands, loop that forward, bring the purple forward, bring this back, loop this purple forward, same here, and these white bands, the middle over here, bring those to the arm, bring the middle up first, grab these white bands, then we're reaching in where the arms are, and we are going to just be grabbing the purple bands. So that's pretty easy actually. And bringing it to the middle, and same here, push back all the bands, grab the purple, bring it to the middle, and then we're pushing back every band and grabbing the two caramel bands. Sorry. Now we're going to remove her from the loom, and you can start from the feet or you can start from the neck. I just pull the feet up a little. Try not to pull them too much. You don't want to stretch the bands. You want her to look nice and neat. Then I take my hook and one by one I go through each peg and I pop her off slowly. And now take your hook and grab those two caramel bands, and then you can take her off. So this is what your headless stock McStuffin looks like. She's not quite done. I'm going to make her head, and we're going to fix her up a little bit afterwards. Before you do that, you're going to take this arm, and there's two bands right here. This first set of bands, you're going to push her arm through, because that band belongs on top. The same on this side. The first set of two bands, take her arm, push it through. That's where her arm belongs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so now we're going to make her head, because she doesn't look good like this. So grab your brown bands, and we're going to make her hair. So you're going to do is you're going to take two brown bands and you're going to go down, I went down 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So go down 4 times using brown bands. And then you're going to do that again. Skip a peg because you don't want them connected. And just go down 4 times. Again, make sure you're using two bands at a time. And then once you've done that, take a single band, wrap it around this peg 4 times, and the same with this peg right here, wrap it around your peg 4 times, and then I'm going to remove this and be very careful, and then you're going to loop this. Push the capping back and loop forward. Once you've looped this last one, you can remove her hair and you can place them to the side. And now we're going to make her head. Grab brown bands again and place it on those 2 pegs right here. Now, in case I didn't tell you, you're going to need, if you don't have pony beads, then you can use black bands. So grab 2 black bands for the eyes, but I'm going to be using mini pony beads. So grab your brown band, and then there's 2 here and 2 here. Place 2 here, 2 here. Now switch to your caramel bands. So the caramel bands go there. This is what yours should look like so far. And then we're going to turn in. And then still using the caramel bands, you're going to fill in the middle. Then you can grab your pieces of your hair, and one of them go here. And the other on this peg. And now I'm going to be using mini pony beads. And if you don't have mini pony beads, what you can use is black bands. So let me show you how to do the eyes with just black bands first. And if you already know, you can skip this part. You just take a single black band and you wrap it around your hook 4 times. And the same, again, another single wrapped around your hook 4 times. And then you're going to take those, take a single caramel band, and you're going to transfer them onto that single band. And then you can place that in the middle like that on these 2 pegs. And that's going to be your doll's eyes. I'm going to be using pony beads though, because I do like using the little beads. So I'm going to take a caramel band and just slide it through a tiny bead. And then my doll's eyes are going to go on these 2 pegs. And then I separate it. And I place this top band on top. And if you want to do that too, if you have if you use bands and you want to bring that top loop on top, you can do that too. And now we're going to place a single caramel band as a triangle on these 3 pegs right here. And then we're going to grab her body, take our hook, and go through the 2 loops. And we're going to make sure you place all the loops on this peg right here. And then while it's on there, take your hook and grab the first 2 bands and loop it forward. Then reach in and grab the second set of bands, and mine are going to the left. If yours is going to the right, it's okay. And then grab the last set, and mine go to the right. Reach in here, and you're going to be pushing back the hair and all these bands and just grabbing the bottom set of brown bands. So push all the bands, grab 2 of the brown bands and bring them forward. The same here. You're bringing just the 2 bottom brown bands forward. You're bringing the middle up and then looping this up. There's this little brown band that holds the eye. You're going to push that back and then grab the 2 brown bands. So you push back the caramel band. Again, like this one, the caramel band, you push back the caramel band, grab the 2 brown bands and loop it forward. Otherwise, it's going to come apart when we loop. Grab these brown bands, bring it to the middle, and the same here. Bring it to the middle, and then grab 2 brown bands. Take your hook, go through all the loops, grab these 2 bands, pull them through, bring it up, place both loops onto your hook, take the first set of loop, bring it over, and that is your slip knot, and you're going to pull. If it snapped for you, then you can just redo that step. And then I'm going to take her off slowly. So this is your Doc McStuffin on your Rainbow Loom, and we're going to add the finishing touches. So you're going to take your pink bands that match her skirt, and you're going to wrap it around the ends of her hair 4 times. And you can use any color you want. And then the same on this side. This is the same as the skirt, so it's jelly. And I did it 3 times actually instead of 4. And then as far as those 2 loops, I go through the back and I grab the 2 loops and I pull it down just so it's hidden. And now her coat, you need it to look like this where it's more rounded. So we do this. You're going to grab 4 white bands, or 5 actually. Take 2 white bands and you're going to take your hook and you're going to place it in these loops. You should have loops on the side. And you're going to place your hook through the 3 loops, grab 2 bands, and you're going to thread it through those 2, through the little loops. Then take your hook and go through the first 2 bands. So there's 2 bands here, 2 bands here. Grab these, go through the 2, go through the other 2, and then grab these. And that's what it should look like. Then take a single, and you're going to try to get it through all those bands. Make sure you're grabbing all the bands. You pull it through, and then you're creating a little slip knot. And that gives it that little outside circle. It just looks more rounded on the outside. I don't know what I was saying for a second. And we'll hide that in a second. Let's do the other side. Take your hook, put it through the 3 loops, grab the double bands, pull it through, take your hook, go through these bands, go through these 2 bands, these 2 bands, and then take these 2 bands. And then grab another single, and you're going to pull them all the way through, and then you're creating a little slip knot. And now we're going to hide that. And since her lab coat is white, it's not a big deal to hide. what I did with the other Doc McStuffin is I just took my hook and I went through all these pink bands right here, and I grabbed that white and I pulled it through, and then I did it on the other side. I went through the other side, went through all the pink bands, grabbed that white band, and I pulled it through. Now the other one's coming out. You can hide it going up the side if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just to hide in the back seat. Now you can't see it. And then that's her little lab coat. And her sneaker, you face it upwards. You just twist it up. And that's her sneaker. And now let's make her stethoscope. Her stethoscope, I used the large pony bead and then a mini E-bead. If you don't have that, I'm going to show you first how to do it with the beads, and then after that I'm going to show you how to do it with using bands if you don't have that. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab 2 bands, make sure they're matching. On this stethoscope I used purple, but I'm going to use 2 pink. And you're going to take them together and you're going to make them into a knot together. So take one of them and the other and pull it through so that it makes a long, makes a really long one. The only problem with this one I noticed is that because they're jelly, they move around a lot. So if you want to use a regular band, maybe 2 purple bands, then you can do that too. But I'll show you with a jelly. After you've attached 2 bands together, you're going to take the large pony bead and take that band and put it through the pony bead. Take this loop that's on my finger right here and bring the other loop through it. And now that is holding that pony bead. And it's fighting with me to come apart because it's jelly. That's why I like to use the regular bands. And then there's a knot here that we made, and that's where I put that mini E-bead and cover the knot. But I'm going to use a mini pony bead, and I'm going to place this loop through here and pull it. And usually it should lay right on that knot. And then I would just take this loop and put it over her head. And that's supposed to be her stethoscope. And it looks so much better if you're not using the jelly bands. But that's your stethoscope. And then I'm going to show you how to do it if you don't have bands. You're going to take 2 white bands and you're going to wrap it around your hook 4 times. And then another set and wrap it around your hook 4 times. And I'm going to use purple this time because I don't like that jelly band. So I'm going to make the stethoscope color purple. So I'm going to take a single purple and transfer the white bands on there, like that. And then I'm going to take that loop and bring it up, and I'm going to create a slip knot and pull on it. Then I'm going to grab another purple band and I'm going to tie them into a knot. So I pulled it through the other one and tied into a knot. And now they're joint. And then you're going to grab another single white band, wrap it around your hook 4 or 5 times. If you can do 5 times, then that's great because you want it to look like a tighter look. Take the top of this loop, put it on your hook, and transfer the white on there. And then you're going to push it down up to where that knot is. It's kind of to cover the knot. And then this one is just a mini one out of rubber band. So I'll take this one off to show you what it will look like on your doll. You want to make sure when you put it on that it's over her head and her hair's through it. And that would be your temporary stethoscope made out of rubber bands until you got a hold of some pony beads. And that is how you create your Doc McStuffin on your Rainbow Loom. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope it wasn't too long. And thank you for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe.